Some magazine.
Tomorrow, on Friday, July 12th, Vertical Entertainment's going to bring us The Inheritance, and it's directed by none other than Alejandro. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. Go ahead, say it for me, so we
You
all hear
already
it.
did. You already did. It's
The correct pronunciation. Give it to me.
Alejandro Brugues.
There we go. So yeah, everyone knows now. Everyone says it differently online. I've listened to 1,800 different pronunciations, so now we know what it is. Hey, it's great to have you here. Thanks so much for taking some time with me today. So
No, my pleasure.
tomorrow, The Inheritance hits theaters and VOD. Watched this film last night. Amazing, amazing movie. Loved it. Got so many questions, so little time. First off, though, I want to ask just a little bit about you, if you don't mind. You've been on the horror scene since about 2011. One of the Dead, of course, was when you became a household horror name. How did that come about? Down to you're from Argentina, correct?
No, I'm Cuban, but I was born in Argentina. That's a long story, and we're gonna waste a lot of time. But I
Okay, so
was born in Argentina because my parents were working there, but I'm Cuban.
sounds good. The international horror scene always just fascinates me. But regardless of how it came to pass, you're here now with The Inheritance, and this is just a magnificent movie. This is your kind of typical like haunted house, uh, haunted family caper. What brought you to this? What was the thing that attracted you to the
Well, it was
project?
essentially that. It was Joe Russo sent me the screenplay. We had worked previously on Nightmare Cinema. He was one of the producers, and I guess I was attracted to the blend of different genres. I liked the speed and everything that happened in the movie. That it was sort of like relentless. And I guess that was it.
I mean, we've seen this story before, right?
Yeah,
The family drawn in, but
yeah.
you're visually you tell it so differently than any other way I've ever seen it done.
Oh, thank
I particularly loved, and again, I don't want to get too spoilery with any of this, but the swimming pool scene was magnificent. I had never seen anything like that before. So now, when a scene like that comes to you, is it writ that way, or do you read it and you go, "All right, this is how this is going to be done"?
No, that wasn't written that way. What happened? That's a happy accident. What happened was it was a different set piece in a swimming pool, and when we were scouting locations, we were going to shoot in Vancouver, and I chose a swimming pool, and it was beautiful. And then suddenly, a few weeks before we started shooting, we had to pivot the whole shoot to Victoria, so I had to disregard all my locations and go to the new locations that ended up being the ones in the movie. And I had a different swimming pool, and I couldn't do the set piece as was written in that swimming pool. So what I did is I booked a night at the hotel. Well, I asked production to send me to the hotel in Victoria. I bought like a swimming mask, and I sat on the bottom of that swimming pool for 1 hour looking around thinking, how do I make this happen here? Until it came to me. And then I had to call the writers and be like, okay, this is a problem, this is a solution that I found. And that's what we ended up doing.
Well, it plays magnificently. I've never seen a swimming pool kill done in that fashion before. And it's great. And then you add in the sound design on top of it, and it's gold. It's actually gold. Um, as far as your casting goes, how much of a hand did you have in that? Because I'll tell you, the casting of Bob Gunton as Charles Abernathy was spot on. Was that someone you had in mind, or was he brought to you?
I mean, when the names started coming in and I saw Bob's name, I was like, I want Bob, and everyone agreed. So yeah, I'm a big Shawshank fan, as we all are, I guess. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
and the moment I saw that, I was like, ooh, I need to work with him. But yeah, it was like that, and I'm very happy with the cast. It was a great group of actors. It's, I guess, how much of a hand I had. I guess it's always is a collaboration. You get lists and you start going over people, you start going through editions and all that. But I'm very, very happy with the cast that we ended up having. It was a fun group of actors to work with.
And they seem to, again, having not read the script, there's no way of knowing, but they seem to all fit their parts perfectly. I mean, you got the younger girl who's into the TikTok, and you got the,
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. So it worked out really perfectly. Now, did you bring anything in as you were working through the film? Is there anything you brought in and you were like, I want to do this kill, or I want this scene that perhaps wasn't in the script?
Oh yeah, I mean, you always bring stuff like that, and it was a lot of adapting to the locations because the way the house was written in the screenplay, well, we just couldn't find a house like that, and it was a little bit of okay. For instance, there was a death happening in a window, and we didn't have that kind of window, but we had the stairs, and once we had the stairs I was like, oh, I need to do something with these stairs. So it was that kind of thing, or the same with the swimming pool. So it was a lot of that, the part that I brought, because when we shot this, it was still during, the COVID shoots, and the writers weren't able to come to the set. So it was basically me trying to put together this house from different houses. It was like three different locations, and adapting what was written to real life, to what we actually had. So it was me texting them the ideas I had of what we could do with the locations all the time. And sometimes we would scout one location, I would come up with something, and by the time we got to the next location, the previous one had fallen. So that was sometimes an idea would last for a car ride. But yeah, it was that was
Literally a car ride, huh?
yeah, it was very fun to do that. But yeah.
Yeah, and you can't tell that it was not. It literally looks like it was all filmed in the same location. It's seamless. You really can't tell that at all. Like the actual outside exterior of the home, though, where was that at? Was that up in the
In
Vancouver area?
Victoria. Yeah, in Victoria. Everything was in Victoria.
That's nice. And you said it was a COVID shoot. So how long have you actually been working on this particular film?
Oh, it was
Like,
a 25-day shoot. I mean, it was no, 23 days. It was a fast
no,
shoot, but it was
relatively quick, huh?
decent.
Relatively quick.
It was decent. It was pretty decent. But you had to figure out every detail because of safety and all that. So yeah, it was a very fun, fast shoot.
And you've had a lot of background in like more anthology films with the kind of the satanic Hispanics and stuff like that. Do you find that you have a lot more leniency in a feature length film than as opposed to having to fit everything into a 20-minute segment, or do you like the elongated storytelling, or does it not matter to you?
No, I like the elongated storytelling, but I mean, the difference is like when you do a movie like this one, you get a lot of notes. It's not my screenplay and all that. And then I actually did Satanic Hispanics afterwards. We were working on Satanic Hispanics. Um, I remember when I landed in Vancouver to start prepping, I was making calls with Mike Mendes. We were trying to get the group together. I actually brought Demian Rugna into Satanic Hispanics while I was in quarantine in Vancouver. And the big difference is like when you're doing an anthology, it's usually very cheap and you have all the freedom. So you get to do whatever you want and you don't have to answer to anyone. And that's something that we try to do with Satanic Hispanics because I'm also a producer there. We gave everyone the freedom, and I also had it. I could do whatever the hell I wanted. So it's very refreshing to be able to work that way and do whatever the hell you want. I like features more, of course, because I like to tell a long story. But at the same time, when you're doing a feature and it's way more expensive, you have to answer to a lot of people, and you have to make a lot of concessions. So it's a give or take thing.
Give or take. What was the biggest challenge in the inheritance? What's the thing that you had the hardest time figuring out or
Well,
pulling off?
the biggest challenge, honestly, it's that it's a stupid challenge, but we were shooting, like the whole movie takes place at night and we were shooting days. So essentially we had to tent all the castles because it was like two castles where we were shooting. We had to tent everything to turn it into night. So every day would be something like that. And also, some of these locations were museums, and we couldn't touch anything. So when you're doing something, when you're doing a stunt like the one that we do in the stairs, we couldn't touch anything, like literally none of the wood, none of the stairs, nothing. So just to set up something, like, I give huge props to our stunt team, because they figure out a way to do that, and that was extremely complex, and they pulled it off. So it was that kind of thing, like making the three locations feel like one. It was that was very tricky, but it's, it's that kind of stuff that it's probably boring as a challenge.
Well, no, it's not. It's not boring at all. It's actually quite fascinating. As far as special effects, though, challenge, was there anything visually that you wanted to achieve that you weren't able to, or that you felt you if you could do it, you'd do it again? Anything you did digitally that you'd rather do with prosthetics or vice versa?
No, I mean, I don't think. I mean, we do have something that was done both ways, but that I don't want to spoil. But I'm very happy with the way it turned out at the end. Um, and we managed to do a lot of practical things here. So I'm also like very proud of that. I always prefer to go practical if possible, and we had a lot of practical.
Yeah, it come out great. It's a great film. It's available on VOD and in select theaters tomorrow, which is July 12th. And it's been a thrill to speak with you. I hope this is a huge hit for you. It certainly deserves to be.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.